I know who already met their friends this week or past weeks online with drinks and party. So I don't know, just wave or say it because yes, I was already. I don't know, I drank with friends, playing table games, making sports together because it really needs nothing. Just call and propose something. It's a great opportunity for leaders. Uh, so laziness everywhere. So who already walked their dog at the balcony because no way to go out. So who already walked their dog at the balcony of the neighbor. It's interesting. So great opportunity today. And what about relationships? The great opportunity, I think, we have now about relationships. So usually, I don't know, on Tinder or in past times, on the street or some place outside of the home. So we can post something. I'm a cool man, or I will entertain you. I have big big money or something like this. But now it was nothing. The only thing you can share is your time and propose to spend some time together. So when you talk today, when you tell today, I marry you, it was nothing. So it was almost nothing in comparing with roles. I will spend a quarantine with you because if you marry, you can get divorced, you can go out at night with friends and so on. But you will spend a quarantine with the you choose. So no opportunity to spend it not together. So girls, especially girls, evaluate it. If someone propose you to spend quarantine together. So
Yeah.
thank you. It was my.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for a good reminder that we still can do parties online. So Toastmasters, will we do the team building one day online?
Good idea.
Let's try. And now I would like opportunities come and go with the time. And now I would like to introduce our timer of the day, Ali Haddur. Ali, please introduce your role and tell us what new things did you learn during the quarantine?
Good evening, everybody. Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Sure. Great. I learned that we can save a lot of time and we have a lot of opportunities to do time traveling. So now we are traveling to Moscow without leaving our places, without leaving our countries. So this is for me is a great opportunity to save a lot of time. And talking about time and fly, I believe that today the time will fly because of our interesting topics and speeches. Today we have 4 interesting speakers and I am so excited to hear them. As a timer, I will be responsible for monitoring time for each meeting segment and each speaker. I will show you the green light to the like this when you will reach your minimum time limit. And I will show you the yellow one, and that means you have 30 seconds to complete and to finish your speech. And when you will be exceeding your time limit, I will show you the red color like this in my background. So that means that your time is up and kindly leave the stage for other speakers. At the end of the meeting, I will present my report for everyone. So for now, don't watch the clock, do what it does, keep going and enjoy the meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster. Thanks.
Thank you, Ali. And I would like to invite Eugene Bykov, our counter, to introduce his role. Evgeny, and tell us also, what are you fond of doing at home these days? Evgeny, your mic is off. Please.
Yes, good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say I'm very pleased to see all of you online. It's my second ever experience of having Zoom conference. These days, I enjoy spending time with my family members. Also, I think I sleep longer than it could be. So I read books, and I have one online course to complete. Also, I have a chance to have a chat via Skype with some friends and relatives from different places, which normally I don't have time to do. So that's how I spend my spare time these days. Regarding my role for tonight, I'm a counter, and I'm going to track and count your unnecessary words and expressions. And as you know, we all tend to use them quite frequently. What words and unnecessary expressions I mean, first of all? It sounds like A, R, M, probably most common ones. And also we tend to use generally, you know, and these kind of words. So I'm going to count, and at the end of our meeting, I'm going to report to all of you who would be the worst offender. So try your best to avoid them, to make our speech nicer. Thank you.
Thank you, Evgeny. During coronavirus times, we have to follow a lot of rules. We have to constantly wash our hands, stay isolated, and keep the distance. We also have rules in Toastbuster Club, and I would like to introduce our rules person. And today, this is Artem Mordin. Artem?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. As an admin, I'm sorry for the pause. Before Artem will have his word, I want to teach you. We lack the very important thing of Toastmasters. It's the applause. So I want to introduce a feature that can be as an exchange of applause, and this tip was introduced by Kristina Sharykina. So we should do like this. Can everyone do like this? And that would mean that we are very happy and we are applauding to our participants. Let's do like this. After a speech. So
it really looks cool.
What?
It really looks cool.
Yeah.
Now we can pass the word to Artem, right, Adna? Okay.
Yes, thank you, guys. Yeah, I would like to say that all things have a good side and all things have a bad side. Probably nowadays we all feel bad thing around us. We worry about our works, about our job, we worry about our time and our future, but as you already know, this have other side. Other side is that we can meet our international friends from other cities. We can spend more time to manage our things at the home. We can spend more time with our families. And I would like to say you the phrase of the day, the reverse side of coin. I will write it to the chat, and please use this phrase at least one time at your speech, or even 2 times, or maybe more. And after that, I will say who will be winner. The reverse side of coin. Yeah, this is coin, one side and another side. So we have both bad and good thing in one coin. And also I will look for your grammarian part of your speech, and I will try to manage this and tell you your mistakes. So thank you.
Thank you, Artem. Now we are ready to start the first section of our Toastmaster Club meeting, which is dedicated to prepared speeches. Our first speaker today is Sofia Kuzkina with her icebreaker project, Choosing Opportunities. Sofia, before you start, could you share with us what did you manage to do during the quarantine? What you hadn't time to do before quarantine? Sofia? Sofia? Sofia, your mic is off.
Now I have problem with unmuting. Now I unmute, and as I understand, you can hear me, yeah? Great. Yes, I definitely will tell you what I do during my quarantine, but I want to start with thank you for welcoming me on board of your big team. I'm really delighted to be here. So for me, this again, the opportunity to live a new reality. And I have a lot of work because I'm a medical doctor and work for pharmaceutical company. So we now have very busy days, and maybe I'm not very prepared for this speech. But I want to start with joke. I want to share with you observation about Russian mentality. As you know, my family name Kuzkin, so you can see Kuzkin mom not only on your screen but surround. And I have more serious problem because my maiden name was Yuryeva. All Russian just remember the well-known proverb that's grandma our Yuryev day. I don't know exactly how to translate it in English. I ask all who can, please put your suggestion into chat. And if you are interested in the end of our meeting, we can choose the best translation of this Russian proverb. That means a bit disappointment. But I agree with you that we have reverse side of the coin, and of course all these fatal family names provide me for more from consistently serious for more jokeful and maybe not so serious behavior. A few words about my professional experience. I don't have like some big and continuous work. I have at least 3 different parts of my professional life. 6 years I live as a teacher. I teach physiology in medical university. Then 12 years I work as a practitioner in practical medicine in emergency department, and 24 years in pharmaceutical business. Believe me, all these big changes was very difficult for me. But I can show you that all of them have also a big opportunity. For example, when I was stressed with my first job, I met my future husband in a tourist bus because I want to have some relax and take this trip, and took this trip. When I was fired while I was on maternity leave, I expanded my knowledge, my expertise, and started to work in practical medicine. And some of us maybe remember the days when salary delays in 90s, in late 90s. And this moved me to unknown to everybody pharmaceutical business and open much more opportunities that I can have in practical medicine. So as a physiologist and as a medical doctor, I know how difficult and how complicated this decision could be. But don't be afraid. As you know, if you the more you know, the more you know you don't know. Don't afraid of making mistakes, and search new information, new opportunities, check them, rely on them, and choose the opportunity. And at least I want to share with you, with my new opportunity, I switch my time that I devoted to commute now for making this picture for the first time, and my both recognize them in this picture. So I wish you all to take this time to know something new, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Sofia. Thank you, Sofia, for showing the reverse side of the coin, that you can use the time to do something creative. And now I would like Alan Akamba to prepare for his speech. Alan, before you start, just a quick question to you. How you fight with lack of movement at home? Do you have any sport tips?
I have my speed rope. I use my speed rope. I have a very high ceiling, so I can go to the balcony and use my speed rope. And also I go out every day because I feel like in jail if I don't go out. I go out every day, very early or very late, because I feel like I want to breathe fresh air. So my tip is, if you don't have a speed rope, do some push-ups or pull-ups on your bed. Great for your stomach.
Yeah, thank you, Alan, for good reminder. And Alan will present his speech, Reinventing Myself. And I work for a company that also put this almost as a slogan, reinventing the company. So I'm really keen to hear your speech, Alan.
Okay, so I'm not going to be using the presentation, right? Hello?
Yep, you can, or you...
Okay, let me just go. Imagine you are, yes, please. That's for everyone, yeah. Okay. So the first slide, please. Imagine you began a project to design a revolutionary bicycle with advanced wheels. Imagine how much time and how many resources you would waste to achieve that goal. I'm sure in the end, you will agree with the old wise saying that there is no need to reinvent the wheel. Madam President, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, good evening. My name's Alan Akamba. I am a petroleum engineer and I am a leadership and communications expert. You might be wondering, what does reinventing the wheel have to do with an icebreaker speech? Well, that's because all my life I have known that there is no need to reinvent the wheel, but throughout my life I have had to reinvent myself a couple of times. And what I mean by reinvent myself is revisit my convictions, reassess my positions, and change my profession. So I started my career as a wireline open hole engineer, as you can see on the second slide. This simply means that my job was to drill holes in the ground so that the oil can flow to the surface. At the time, I was a young, happy-go-lucky engineer. I was single. The job was fantastic. The pay was amazing. I traveled the world, and of course, lots of girls. But then in 2008, the world financial crisis hit, and I lost my job. And I couldn't find a job as an engineer. So for the first time in my life, I took a pause and I said, now is the time to reinvent myself. So destiny, if you will, as you can see on the next slide, took me to the biggest country in the world, the country of Pushkin, the great poet, the country of Mendeleev, the creator of the periodic table. And all of a sudden, my skills were in demand, my English skills, my soft skills. I found myself in Innopolis, a city near Kazan, which is about 820 kilometers from Moscow, east of Moscow. There, I taught very smart teenagers how to use your hands, how to project your voice. I taught them public speaking and how to boost their self-confidence. I became a better mentor. I was now essentially a teacher. But I was frustrated because I wanted to make more money, quite frankly. So I thought to myself, for the second time in my life, now is the time to reinvent myself. So I went back to school. I went back to Canada. As you can see there, I am in front of my university. And before I knew it, I found a job back again in oil and gas. And I was happy again with some of my colleagues, as you can see in the picture. But then the unthinkable happened. In the spring of 2014, the price of oil and gas plummeted to $27 a barrel. And guess what happened? I lost my job again. And I was broke. So, destiny brought me back to Russia again. And this time I said, I don't think I want to teach teenagers. But, I thought, now I need to reinvent myself again. So I decided to start teaching, to start consulting, corporate consulting. And there, right there on the picture, you can see I am standing with my clients from the IT company HP, right here in Moscow. Everything was great. My consultations were going on just perfect until what we all know happened. The coronavirus outbreak. And all of a sudden, all my consultations, all my face-to-face consultations were canceled. And so, of course, I thought to myself for the third time in my life, now it's time to reinvent myself. So these days, I have consultations online, and it's a new mode. As you can see here, I use my mask. This is an Instagram post I did a few days ago, just to tell people about how they are going to experience stress. So the reverse side of the coin is it's more flexible. With some of my clients, I can have consultations as early as 8 a.m. So another thing I have done in reinventing myself is have a guitar. This has been in my bucket list, buying a guitar for myself. But these days, I play the guitar more. So in closing, In these coronavirus times, I'd like you to ask you the question, is this time to reinvent yourself? Thank you.
Wow, Alan, what a story. It's really amazing. You know, you turned this coin, I don't know, 4 times already. And from teacher, from petroleum engineer to teacher, from teacher to corporate consultant, and now to guitar player, you know, wow. Team, we now have an opportunity to evaluate Alan and Sofia's speech. If you go to the chat box, there is a link to evaluate Irina's performance. And I'm asking Elizaveta to make 1 minute for people to fill in form for Irina. And after that, we will have another minute to fill in the form for Alan. I don't see yet the form for Alan. Oh, for Sofia, the link from Irina. Ah, okay, it's the same link for both Sofia and Alan. Ali, 1 minute, please.
Okay, first 1 minute is up.
Okay, thank you. And please use the same link to evaluate second speaker.
The second one is also.
Yeah. Thank you, Ali. Team, we're ready to continue. Our next speaker of today will be Anna Soltys. Anna, before you start your speech, a quick short question to you. Where do you find inspiration when you don't know what to do?
I think I have no reason to find inspiration because I always know what to do. I have another problem. I usually don't know how to find time to do nothing. So I always have an inspiration for something because I have fantasy and enthusiasm.
Yeah. Anna, yeah, and you know, I'm very curious to learn about your speech. Anna will speak about sensory deprivation. The floor is yours, Anna.
You're lying completely naked in the zero gravity. There is full silence and nothing is touching your skin. You feel nothing and the things about nothing. and this. You can feel all this in flattened chamber, or another name is the sensory deprivation. And today, as you guess, we are going to talk about sensory deprivation. This, you would ask me if you could, and I would answer you. Sensory deprivation is a partial or complete stop of external exposure to one or more sensory organs, which leads to decrease in the flow of nerve impulses into the central nervous system. And you know that short periods of sensory deprivation have a really relaxing effect on a person. While our body feels nothing, our brains gets an opportunity to analyze, structure, and sort internal information. And this helps to process self-judgment and stabilization of the psyche. And then you lie in flattened chamber. You lie in really very salty water, like in Dead Sea. And the temperature of the water is nearly the same as your body natural temperature. No sounds, no lights, so they create effect of weightlessness. And if you didn't try flattened camera yet, do it. I strongly recommend you because I don't know if you would like it, maybe not, but it's really something unusual. And you will have an opportunity to feel yourself like in cosmos, maybe. However, returning to sensory deprivation, you know that one of the most cruel punishment in prison is the placement of a person in solitary confinement. Why? Because standing sensory deprivation for a long time can be really hard for a person, and not only emotionally, but this also can destroy person's health. We are talking about such symptoms like depression, euphoria, irritability, inability to concentrate on something, or even think over problems. In the case of prolonged deprivation, even the idea of one's own self can break down and hallucination can start. So sensory deprivation is quite a strong, can have quite a strong impact on a person's health. And you know that people, then they are isolated, for example, in spaceship, in submarine, or in such situation like this, when we have to self-isolate, people can have problems with sensory deprivation. And moreover, with self-isolation, we can have more problems because people at the moment are under fear and stress. And unfortunately, I have to tell you that we don't have to spend several months to get the symptoms I was talking about. Several weeks can be enough to get the problem. So what can we do in this situation? And the first that I can recommend you is to communicate with people, with adequate people. Because and do it in any ways as you can, through internet, through telephone, through messengers, and any possible ways. But communicate with adequate person. Please avoid the person who are already in panic. And the second advice is to diversify your tactile sensations. What is mean? try different food. Do different things with your body. Maybe even touch yourself. I know it sounds somehow funny, but this can help. Do massage, take a shower, use different creams and any other tactile things. And the third advice is do something you are interested in, something that makes you enthusiastic, because enthusiasm is the main thing that can improve your immunity. And Toastmasters is the best way to spend your time, because here you can communicate with adequate people and you can feel enthusiasm making the speeches. In conclusion, I would like to tell you guys, take care of yourself and your beloveds. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Great speech. I would definitely try some different food but based on your advice. And Tim, now it's time to fill in the evaluation form. Ali, could you please start 1 minute?
One minute is over.
Tim, it's time to continue. Now our fourth speech, it will be delivered by Ivan Zernagatic. Ivan, when I was preparing to this meeting, I thought, could I ask this question? And I thought about you. My daughter said that there is a new dancing style called coronavirus. Have you heard about it?
Honestly, no.
Can you imagine it?
Well, I heard in, I think it was some late night host who made jokes about that they have in Vietnam. It was kind of a dance to remind people to wash their hands. If you refer to this, then I know what you're talking about. Otherwise, but if you mean that, no, I can't, but I can show you where to find it.
Okay. My daughter showed something like that. Coronavirus.
Yeah.
Coronavirus.
It was similar to that, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Ivan will present his speech. Can you ever get rid of your native accent? The floor is yours, Ivan.
Thank you. Accent is the soul of language, feeling and truth. Jean-Jacques Rousseau said that, the famous French philosopher. Having an accent has always been a part of my life. I grew up bilingual, so we spoke Croatian at home and German in school. And even though I'm a German native speaker, I have an accent in German as well. For example, I pronounce the R in German instead of the H. Later, I learned a couple of languages, and every time I learned a language, I made an effort to mask my accent as much as possible and to sound as neutral as possible. And nowadays, when I teach languages, people come to me, or they don't come to me, because I have an accent in English, because they look for a native speaker. So this begs the question, why do people so desperately want to get rid of their accent? doesn't this really strip us of the identity that we have? Doesn't this remove the language, the flow of the language and the identity of the language that Jean-Jacques Rousseau told us about? And last but not least, can you even do that? Can you even tuck away your accent like a dark secret that you don't want anyone to know about? And this question is what I want to answer today. Is it possible to do so? And to do that, I read a very interesting paper by a Dutch woman whose name I will for sure butcher now, but I think she's called Esther de Leeuw. And her paper was about the influence of your sandwich on the pronunciation and the intonation of your first language. And she came to 3 conclusions. And I have this nice little whiteboard here with me to make my speech a little bit more interactive. And the first thing that I want to tell you about from her conclusions were attrition. Talks about attrition of your first language. What does attrition mean? Attrition changes, or how it gets substituted by your second language. I'm a bilingual of German and Croatian. So how would my second language, German, substitute the pronunciation of my first language, Croatian? The examples she brought forward were Americans that lived in Brazil for a long time. What happened to them? The sound of the language. There is a specific linguistic term. It's called voice onset. It's difficult to explain. The sound of the language of these Americans living in Brazil, in Portuguese and in English, it's aligned. So these 2 languages pronounce them. How the intonation of these American native speakers in Portuguese and in English came closer together. So to the conclusion that no, you can never get rid of your accent. And not only that, even worse, your language impacts your first language and how you pronounce it. So say my second language, which is technically German, impacts how I pronounce first. The next thing, look at how do others perceive you. And here she mentioned a very interesting experiment. What they did was bring together 57 German people living in the Netherlands. These German linguals, they had been in the Netherlands for a long time and they spoke both languages perfectly, like natives. Then they brought together a group of real Germans, people that only spoke German. And then they asked the Germans living in the Netherlands to speak some spontaneous German. And they asked the Germans from Germany very native speaker. I did not. Germans from Germany thought of these 57 Germans in Holland that 14 of them were not native speakers, even though. So this woman, Esther, came to the conclusion that you can be perceived even though you are, because you are a bilingual. If you live in the country or if you speak a language for long enough. So speaking a second language can have such an impact on your countrymen and countrywomen think that you're not a native speaker. And then the third point, she asked, okay, but what about people who speak their second language perfectly, who are complete bilinguals, who cannot even be distinguished, even by native speakers, from a real speaker of that language? So here they had another experiment. They brought together a group of people from Spain, Spanish people that had lived in Sweden for a very long time. And they asked a bunch of Swedish people, okay, can you tell us, are these people Swedish or not? And the Swedish, Here, now you can see better. The Swedish people said, yes, these Spanish people are definitely Swedish. They are native speakers. But they weren't, because they were from Spain. So their accent was non-perceivable. They couldn't tell the difference. But then they consulted a computer. They made a proper analysis, and it turned out that the accent of these Spanish people, even though we couldn't even hear it, it was different from a person that only spoke Swedish. Now they thought, okay, maybe this is only because they had learned the language later on in life, but no, they brought together a second group of, again, Spanish and Swedish speakers, and it was the same for them, even though they had learned the language early in life. So to answer the question, no matter how hard you try, no, you can never get rid of your accent in your second language. But not only that, your accent in your second language, even though we might not even hear it, will impact your first language. So if you are a bilingual, it means that you are not one person in one language and one person in the second language put together. It means that you are a complete new person and your brain processes language in a completely different way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. Yeah, I never heard that about the second bullet, that you have to, that actually second language transforms the way how you speak in your first language. Thank you. All, could we please go to the chat box and fill in evaluation form for Ivan?
Понятно было, что? Потому что я мастер импровизации.
Ali, did you put the time on?
Yeah, time is up. 1 minute is over.
Thank you. Thank you. Master Club members, and our first part of prepared speeches is over. And let's start the second part, which is dedicated to spontaneous speeches. And this is called Table Topics. We have a great honor today of having very special guest, distinguished Toastmaster and District 91 Director from London, Florian Bay. Florian, any from you for staying at home?
Sorry, what's the question?
Any tips from you for staying at home?
Make the most of your time and plan your days ahead.
Thank you.
Are we not having a break before the table topics?
Yeah, yes, I think we should have a break, a 10 minutes break.
Yes, please.
Is it on the agenda?
It is on the agenda, that's why I'm asking.
Sorry guys, you know, I just missed the, missed it. My apologies. 10 minutes break.
If someone wants to...
We all should be back.
I think you should grab a cup of tea now, or you have an orderly conversation here. Don't be shy. And I encourage.
Yeah, team, we should be back at in 5 minutes at 20:35, please.
Okay. so many guests here. Michael, Kevin, Vladimir. Michael, where are you from? Yeah, I can hear you.
We don't hear you, Michael.
Sorry, I was double muted. I'm from the U.S.
Wow.
From Ohio.
What time is it now?
It is 1:30 in the afternoon.
Oh.
So around lunchtime.
How did you hear about this meeting?
Saw it on Facebook.
Oh.
Nice.
And it was a perfect timing. So I was like, hey, I've always wanted to visit Moscow. What better way to do it than virtually, right?
It's much better in the flesh. I was hoping I'd go at the end of this month for the conference, but everything's moved online. So unfortunately, it's not happening.
And Michael, do you have also online meetings in your Toastmaster club?
Yes, we do.
Can you share the link for the next meeting if you already have a scheduled one or something?
Sure, I can do that. I'll put it in the chat for you.
Thanks. That will be interesting.
Get it.
Yeah, also have some guests from Sweden. Yes, Alicia, are you here?
And with the time, Michael, if you can also just put it in the time, because in Zoom it usually doesn't say. I mean, what time is it or which day? How is it in Ohio? Is it already summer here, or how's the weather?
No, so it's spring now, and today it's a little cooler, but this is nice. Not quite warm enough for everybody to really enjoy outdoors right now.
Yeah, I believe in Moscow yesterday it was snowing. Yeah, Anna?
Oh, wow.
Or 2 days ago.
That's snow.
Snow, that's no fun. Let's see.
And we've got Kevin back. And where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from the UK. I'll spell my name in Russian for you, make it easy.
Yeah, thank you. How do you know how to write in Russian?
I've taken me about a year to learn the alphabet. Now I can start learning the language a bit better. I found some of the letters very difficult to remember. For instance, ch is very close to ts. It looks very similar to t, like ts as in sa, the ch, and the z and the e, very similar. It's hard to get my head around some of the letters, and the l and the p. Is it p? Yeah, p. Very similar, very difficult. But I think I've almost nailed the alphabet now. So now I can start learning better.
Do you know any phrases in Russian? Greetings?
A few things. It is sort of, just a few. Dobry dzień, dobry noche, привет, здравствуйте, спасибо, благодарю. Just general, piva, obviously piva. Благодарю, piva.
Interesting. And which city you are from, Kevin?
I'm in the UK, but I've not visited Russia. I've visited Ukraine. Rather than, I'm sorry to say that. I know there's some tensions there, but there shouldn't be. We all love each other.
Then you're welcome to Russia.
I've not yet been to Russia, but I'd like to come. St. Petersburg and Moscow.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that you're welcome.
I'd love to come. I'd love to be in one of your meetings.
Yeah, you should go to the Optima Forma Club. It's a Russian-speaking club, Kevin. I was there nearly a year ago, and I did a table topic in Russian.
You speak
Kristina
Russian,
was
Florian,
there.
do you?
Sorry?
You speak Russian?
I do speak some Russian, yes.
Yeah, I'm learning too, my friend.
That's good.
You've got 2 districts represented from the UK because Florian and I are both in different districts.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael, for the link. I will share it in the public chat if you don't mind.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I wasn't sure.
So it's every week or it's every 2 weeks?
Every week.
Every week. And which city in Ohio, yeah?
Which city?
In Ohio, yeah? It's this...
yes, in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Thanks.
You're welcome.
What's the name of your club?
Okay, here
I'm a part of 2 clubs. The one I sent in the link is Anthem Express. That's what we call it. So it's hosted inside an insurance company, the Anthem Insurance Company. So that's where the name came from.
Mm-hmm.
Is Columbus the capital of Ohio?
Yes.
Okay.
We also get
Columbus.
Michael, I believe there's quite a lot of clubs within organizations rather than community clubs in the US. Is that correct?
Yes, quite a few. Even in my area here, we have within 100 miles, we have over 200 clubs.
Wow.
Back in Canada, we used to
But there are a lot of small clubs, unfortunately, because we're constantly starting new clubs. And so you have small clubs with 12, 15 people, and you work hard to get 20.
London's getting there. There's 112 clubs in London now.
Wow.
It's getting there slowly but surely. Moscow will be there in 10 years' time.
Wow.
Attention, please. The break is over. I think everyone is back. Florian, the floor is yours.
Okay, let me just get prepared. Thank you very much, Elizaveta. Спасибо большое, Elizaveta. So I will be your table topics master this evening. What are table topics all about? It's not about meeting around a round table and hatching plans. It's something far more devilish indeed. It is impromptu speaking. It is speaking on any topic without any amount of preparation at all. And why this is important? Well, in day-to-day life, we're all in a situation where we've got to speak off the cuff without preparation. If we're at work and somebody asks us, what do you think about this? If we're in the street and we've got to ask a passerby for instruction, or maybe you're even on a date with that special person and you're looking at deep in the eyes and you're not sure what to say. This is where table topics can help you. We've got a theme to the meeting, which is of the opportunities of staying at home. And I'm going to keep this table topic session really simple in a lot of respect. We're going to play a game that I always love to play when it comes to table topics. I'm going to give you an activity that is represented by a verb. And it's an activity that typically takes place at home, but can take place outside of the home. And with that word, you can speak about whatever you want, as long as it's related to this activity and perhaps the opportunities that this quarantine is providing to do more of this activity at home. I've got a few people that have been asked to volunteer for this table topic session, and we're going to start with the first activity that you can do at home: baking. And to tell us all about the baking, the great cakes and pastry that this person is currently making, let's welcome to the stage my colleague from the UK, Kevin Baggs.
Well, first up, thank you very much, Florian, for that. Baking as well, I didn't expect to get the one about baking, although I am, I guess, well known for cooking. And you can see that in the way I look. You know, I don't dislike my food. But baking is something I don't do very often, except I bake potatoes. Now, this is a weird thing. When you bake a potato, you're really roasting it, but we call it baking a potato. It's strange. Baking is an activity that I think you can do outside of the home. I'm sure you can do it outside of the home, and I'll explain why. And I'll give you a story. Many years ago, when my son was small, and he's now not small, he was in the Scouts, the Cub Scouts. They go out and do activities, and we went to a camp with tents. And the guy that was in charge of the camp came from South Africa, or one of the countries around that, where they're very famous for their barbecues. They make barbecues everywhere they go. Well, this guy was a professional. His barbecue was for a camp of children and adults of maybe 50 people. He roasted meat underground in a barbecue somehow. I've no idea how he done it. I've no idea. But when it came out, this food was absolutely fantastic. You can just imagine a professional barbecuer from South Africa feeding a campsite of 40 or 50 people. Now, I think if anybody can bake, let's say a cake, not a potato, a proper cake, outside, it would be Patrick from the Scouts. Now, I think I'm going to go after this meeting, after maybe not hearing from him for 15 or 20 years, I'll be emailing Patrick and asking him to bake me a cake in a barbecue under the soil, underground. And I'll let you know next meeting whether he succeeds.
Kevin, wow, that was an interesting story. The next activity that we can do at home is one that also requires quite a bit of involvement, quite a bit of activity, and it would be painting. I've seen a picture of some people repainting their living room and running out of paint halfway through, so they're going to spend the whole quarantine with a living room that's kind of not painted in full. But painting can take various form. And to tell us all about perhaps the opportunity that this person has had to paint recently, let's welcome a member who hasn't spoken to the stage yet, Maria Kalininkina.
Hello, guys. I'm sorry, Florian, could you please repeat the task?
Your task is to tell us all about the opportunities of the quarantine to do more painting at home.
Wow, painting. Well, fortunately, I have, as I remember, only 1 minute to tell everything about painting. I'm not so good in painting, but I really like it, and I adorable about art and painting, like, let me say, Salvador Dali, I really enjoy it, and Claude Monet. Also, I have some pictures at my flat. Of course, they are reproductions, and in this difficult time, let me say that also I have a balance board nowadays. I'm really happy to have it. I'm sorry, it's not about painting, Florian, but it's a really cool thing. So it's all about sport. You can try to put your legs on the desk, and you have a special roll under the desk, and so it's you have to try to find a balance on the special desk. And of course, you can stand on it and look at the beautiful painting picture on this balance. So thank you guys for the attention, and thank you for the great meeting.
Thank you very much, Maria. Спасибо большое, Maria. The next activity is one that fellow members of my club referred to, and she said, ever since the activity started, I've had plenty of time to do this, and as a result, my ass has never been so censored word. And this next activity is one that we indeed have a lot more time to do, and we cannot put off for the next start. And that activity is cleaning. To tell us all about the cleaning that they're not able to do because they're stuck at home, let's welcome to the stage another guest. Let's welcome Vladimir to the stage. The floor is yours.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So speaking about cleaning, I really like cleaning. Like really, really like cleaning. And because of my job, right now I work as a freelancer. So I'm not really in a different situation than before. And I spent a lot of time at home. And I know what a real cleaning looks like. Especially you can see the room, it's quite a small apartment. And usually when you live in a room without going outside, you'd have to clean it, I don't know, maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. But now I have to clean it every day. But do you think I do it? Of course not. But what I would like to say is that cleaning is important, but you don't always have to physically clean your room. What's more important is if you clean your activity, your soul, your actions, whatever you say. So we have a lot of garbage time when we read things we do not want to read or we do not need to read, when we look through things, when we listen to things which we don't really actually need. That's a lot of noise, a lot of trash things. And if we speak figuratively about cleaning, then I think it's much more important to clean your own time so that you'll be more productive, despite if you're at home or if you are at work. So coming to an end, I would like to say that physical cleaning of actual dust in your flat is important, not to have any diseases, but the figurative meaning of cleaning up your life is much more important.
Thank you very much, Vladimir. That was quite interesting to learn a lot about cleaning. Okay, we still have time to run a couple more table topics. Somebody's volunteered. I also have a list that I'm working from that I'm mainly making on the spot. But hey, I'm being creative. I'm in charge here. The next activity is one that's maybe slightly similar to the previous one. It's one that I certainly gonna have to do very soon because the mountain of censored item is getting higher and higher and higher. And this activity that we now have plenty of time to do during the quarantine is ironing clothes. Alexandra Fedorenko, the floor is yours. Ironing.
Florian, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. You know, I am going to surprise everybody, but I didn't iron my clothes for probably a year. So this is something that I don't plan to do for another. Since I do need to speak about ironing, I'm going to give you a couple of tips of what to do not to iron your clothes till probably the rest of your life. First of all, many people think that they need to iron their bed sheets. Wrong, you don't have to. There are actually several ideas of you're killing bacteria when you iron it, but there is another idea is that you're actually closing the air holes in the bed sheet so that you see you are killing the airflow. Next thing is the clothes that you wear at home. Most of the clothes that I wear don't need to be ironed because once you wash them, they are super ironed because of the quality of the material. It does has a little bit of synthetic quality in it. The next thing, what to do with the clothes that you actually have to iron, because it is gonna look like, yes, I need to beep the next word. So 2 opportunities and 2 ideas. First of all, if you need to do it very, very quickly, wash it, and after that, make it fall so that there will be no wrinkles. Or if you need to make it very quickly, just put it in the bathroom where you're going to take a shower, so the humid air is going to help out. Or just dry cleaning is one of the things that helps me to be a lazy one and not to iron the clothes whenever I need something ironed.
Yes, Sandra. Wow, got some good tips about ironing. Now we're going to be moving away from mundane activities into seeing a lot more. Now, we've got time to do a lot more of that at home, especially in the rather challenging time that we're in. I could be doing a lot more of it myself because I have the supplies that are waiting for this activity in the kitchen, but I don't. A part of my mind is preventing me from doing that activity. And to tell us all about drinking at home, let's welcome to the stage Ricardo.
Hello, everyone. It's a great topic, drinking. I started drinking very early. Maybe you should know. My name is Ricardo, and I am from Bolivia. So in South America, people start drinking at very early age. I started maybe when I was 13. My favorite drink, that is Fernet. I don't know how many of you know about this drink. When I was in Moscow, in Russia, I looked, but I never found it. The closest thing I found it was Jagermeister. But here I have my a good storage full of Fernet, so I can start making my favorite drink as long as I am quarantined here. So it will be a very interesting 2 weeks. And I will be joining you guys, hopefully quite loaded. So next time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Yes, I've got 4 bottles of wine at home that I will need to drink at some point, but well, I don't know why. I just feel that drinking on my own is a bit. Now, moving on to the next activity. We do have more time to do that because there's no excuse such as lack of time, lack of preparation. And besides, getting the ingredient for this activity is still possible because the supermarkets are still open. What are you therefore cooking in this time of quarantine? To tell us all about cooking in time of quarantine, let's welcome to the stage Alla.
Alla. Alla hasn't got sound. She cannot speak.
She doesn't have sound.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's.
I can be.
Oh, that's a shame. Sorry, Alla. I was quite keen for you to take part. Okay, we're gonna get another activity now because it's just the cooking. Oh, shall we stay on the cooking? Oh, now people are getting time to prepare a very good topic. Somebody's volunteered. Let's welcome to the stage Artem Mordin.
Yes, thank you. Cooking. I would like to say about my cooking. In usual life, where we are not in quarantine, I don't like cooking and I don't have time for cooking. I like to go to restaurant and have a business lunch and so on. But now, when I have a lot of time and spending my time at the home, I try to make my own food, my own cook. And I realized that I can do it quite well. So I bought some products from supermarket, just regular one. Potato, carrot, and so on, and realized that I bought all what I need for borscht. Everyone, Russian people probably, or even other country, like borscht. I very like borscht, and I tried to make it, and I find some recipe without meat because it is quite easier, and do it and realize that it's very tasty. So and my reverse side of the coin for me, I decide to cook by myself, and now I know how to make borscht and some other good dishes, and I think it is good. It is good for my stomach, and probably it is good for my friends if I will have a party, so we will have some food to eat. So that is why I think nowadays it is good time for cooking for everybody and trying to make it more better. Thank you.
Thank you. I've actually decided to make borscht myself as well. I will buy all the ingredients, go shopping, which is probably going to be Friday this week. I really love borscht. I discovered it in Moscow, and I'm looking forward to make my own. I've been informed that unfortunately we don't have much time for multiple topic. You've been a great audience, great participation, and back to Madam Toastmaster Elizaveta.
Thank you, Florian. Thank you. This was such an energetic table topics, and you know, it's my first online meeting, and I couldn't figure out. Like, thank you for this great example. And now we're approaching the final part of our meeting today. And you know what I like about Toastmasters is that I really see how people develop and improve their skill Toastmasters. And I thought, what are the criteria for success? And I think this is power of feedback. And with that, I'm delighted to pass the reign of power to our General Evaluator, Kristina Sharykina. Kristina, please.
Sorry. Yes, Irina, I will say about it right now. Thank you for reminding, and good evening again, everybody. It's really an amazing opportunity to be a part of this meeting today. And before we proceed to the most powerful instrument of feedback, let's vote for the best table topic speaker. And for that, let's pay our attention to our general chat. And Irina set a table topics voting link. So please go there, vote, and by the end of the meeting, we will learn who is the winner. And now, without any other words, let's proceed to the main part of personal evaluations. And I would like to welcome the first personal evaluator of our... guys, please mute your sound and don't speak together with me. Thank you. Now, Tatyana, please mute your microphone. Thank you. And so with that, I would like to welcome on the stage Vadim Mikrin, I'm sorry, who will be evaluating our first speaker, Sofia Kuzkina. Vadim, are you
thank
here?
you. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sofia, I'm really glad to be the first personal evaluator on your first icebreaker speech. And of course, I would like to congratulate you on your first step to Toastmaster journey. And what's the purpose of the speech of icebreaker is to introduce you to the club and to give us, you know, an impression of your and your personality.
Vadim, please put your microphone. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, now it's better. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, in my opinion, is the best way to introduce you is to give us the to express some side of your personality. Of course, we think that's the best part of you. And what you've done with your speech, you gave us the impression of one of the best sides of your character and your personality. It's the flexibility and of course your positive position to the life and to the changes of life. I think it's very, very good. It's one of the best that you can do is to react positively to the changes in your life. So your speech was quite well structured, so I easily followed to you and followed your changes of your life. But what I missed a little bit that is that the details of these changes as we learned about your husband and so on and so on. But the little but very effective details could be added and to make your speech more lively and add more energy to it. I understand that this format, the video format, could be very new to you, and what again I missed in this format, and I looked to you and listened to your speech, is the eye contact. It's essentially how you look to the camera, because we all look to the to our monitors, and maybe it could be easier to you to focus only to the camera, not on everybody, on the auditory. And sometimes you did it, but sometimes not. And anyway, I can tell that you were effective and your icebreaker was very good. Maybe it will encourage you to start a video blog. So again, congratulations and welcome to the club.
Thank you, Vadim, very much for your evaluation. So I will be the sound of everybody right now. Vadim, anyway, as a general evaluator, would like to give you some bullet points of evaluation from my part. So as the main thing in giving feedback is being very structured, because firstly, you have only 3 minutes, and in these 3 minutes, you have to put much information. Probably my advice for you would be to be more structured and to be more precise. So let's say that, for example, by the end of your speech, you mentioned that you had this phrase like something you did and something not. In order to grow, a speaker needs a very precise example. So say that you mentioned this thing and give a precise example, which was good, whereas, and another example so that speaker understands what to improve. Also, I would like to suggest you to use more emotional verbs. I enjoyed, I was amazed, I really liked. I think that this emotional connection is very, very important. And the last but not the least advice for you would be to try to structure in a better way your presentation. Don't think too much, because again, you have only 3 minutes. But we are really growing, and I wish you good luck in your future personal evaluations. Thank you very much. And we are going further, and now the time of our second personal evaluator, who will be the personal evaluator of Alan Akamba's speech. And without any words, I would like to welcome Tatyana Gladysheva on our online stage. Tatyana.
Thank you, Kristina. Alan, thank you very much for your speech. At the very beginning of your presentation, you mentioned that one of your achievements or majors was communication expert. And I have to confess that you really are. You are already a communication expert. So I'm mostly planning to praise you rather than give you drawbacks and advices how to improve. So I really loved the phrase you used. Boost yourself with the comments. Bucket list. This is something we need to learn from you, how to enrich the vocabulary, enrich the presentation. Structure was very good, very easy to follow. Very clear message. Everyone got inspired from your flipping sides of your cones, how to reinvent yourself. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to evaluate your eye contact and gestures, but I remember you doing it at the stage and you do it really well. So you already have 5+ for that. You demonstrated the skills of advanced speaker. So it's really hard to find something for you. Probably I can say you can add some humor. You already do it really good, but you add something, develop, would be good advice from my side, I think. Piece of advice. What else can I say? Well, good luck. I'm looking forward to your next. You do really well. It's hard to find something. It's hard to find drawbacks.
Okay, thank you, Tatyana, a lot. And again, I will be the sound of the public, of the audience. I think it's really very difficult to evaluate Alan's speech because he's quite an advanced speaker. But anyway, I think that there are always things to improve, especially now. I think that, for example, we could pay more attention of only working on camera, because like there are people who are putting their hands under the camera and you don't see, or for example, their facial expression doesn't connect with people, something like that. And to you, I can say, Tatyana, that your gestures were also very vivid, and probably I will give you this advice. So try to, I don't know, probably to put your camera a bit low, or probably to put your hands a bit up so that everybody can see your gestures. Probably it's a bit unnatural for our body, but still.
I don't want everybody to see the mess in the room.
What?
I don't want all the participants to see the mess in my background in the room.
No, everything is okay. And thank you for very precise examples, by the way. This is a very good instrument. Okay, now we are moving further, and let's welcome the personal evaluator of Anna Soltys, and let's welcome Irina Suvorova. Irina?
Hello, everybody. Hello again, dear Toastmasters, dear guests, dear Anna. I'm from my phone again, so I hope that you can see me now. So Anna, the purpose of your speech was to present the speech on that topic that's unusual or unexpected in your club, and you definitely are implemented this task, because as for me, I personally didn't know about this deprivation chamber, and I was very interested in this chamber, so I wanted to try it in Moscow, and hope you will consult me after our meeting how to find it. So thank you for this subject, and now, especially at that time, is important for us to know how to get some real advice about how to fight with panic, how to learn to control our emotions, how to recognize our real feelings, and how to hear ourselves. So we go inside, because we can't go outside, of course. Regarding your speaker's manner, I liked your voice variation and your vivid mimic. I was really charmed by it, as usual. I didn't see so many gestures because I didn't see your hands. Maybe you should stay, you should stand, for example, in this way, in order we can see almost all your body. It is especially good for a speech contest where we should evaluate your gestures. I saw that you used your earphones. Maybe it can help you with gestures. Also, what I liked more, I like your recommendations, especially about immunity increasing. It's always helpful now. And special advice to communicate only with adequate people. What should I add? What should I recommend you to add? Maybe more references and more sources about some researches about these chambers and how it happens in our mind. It's very, very interesting subject, really. And also to look directly into the camera, because not all the times I can catch your eyes. It is related with your camera position. you should note where it is and look directly into the camera. I think that's all my recommendations. So thank you for this speech. I am sure that you should develop it more, and I'm really eager to listen, to hear more about deprivation chambers. Thank you.
Thank you, Irina, very much. I will be the sound again of the public. Okay, Irina, so a couple of advices to you. I think that you are more than advanced Toastmasters to evaluate advanced speakers, and it's really difficult all the time. Probably, I really like to phrase, because we obviously can go outside, so we have to go inside. Then I would give you an advice of going inside to yourself and state. So let's say that if you are advising something, some kind of, like you were advising some, to show some resources or something like that, yes, by the end of your speech. So just don't hesitate, because you're expressing your own opinion. Say, I would like you to do this stuff, because this kind of hesitating produces a bit of our, how to say, non-confident atmosphere with the speaker. So just be confident in yourself. And thank you very much for your evaluation. And let's finish the personal evaluation part with the final evaluation, which will be presented to Ivan Kognatic and will be done by Valeria Kholodkova. Let's welcome her.
Thank you. Now, can we ever get rid of our native accent? This is something that Ivan posed in his speech tonight. Have we found an answer to this question? We'll find it a little later. Now, what I really liked about the speech and the manner of Ivan's presenting here on the stage is his assertiveness, is his confidence on how well and how assertive he was in presenting the results of the research that he was about to make and present us the analysis of the problem that he posed. Now let's move a bit inside this problem. The good points that I found in his project were, first, the topic is really hot. The question is intriguing. Can we really get rid of this accent, or can we not if it's a native language? This is very important for us, people speaking a different language, right? It would be even better if you could ask us, like interact a little, like posing hands or whatever. Are we really interested in that? Supposing that we are, good. Now, you set yourself as an example of a speech. You are bilingual, and that might cause a problem. So you are credible. You are interested in the topic. Let's see what follows. You analyzed and presented 3 vivid examples of the topics that you researched. Have you proved whether it was right or not? Let's see a little later. So these were really the good things and the good points that I mentioned. However, the task of the project was to make a well-structured and well-done research. Let's see. You said that you read a book or read something by Esther someone. Esther something, and was like a big confusion when you said, so who is this Esther? I immediately Googled and I couldn't find any Esther about this, getting rid of the accent. So please make the source more credible so that we believe that this woman Esther is someone to believe. Then it was just Esther, right? Who else did you consult with? Any other research, any other books, any other stories, any other reviews? No, I guess not. Then the selection of 57 people, not enough for such a problem. I would actually add more information to prove it even stronger. Then the use of numbers. What I would suggest you to improve here, the great use of whiteboard. I really love this prop, amazing. But you wrote 57 and then you wrote 14. So we have to count 57 versus 14, 1/4. Every person is treated to be not native speaker. That would be much easier to remember and understand. And what I would really love for you to do is to add some demonstration of your accent. You said you're from Croatia and you speak German. So show us the difference. How does it impact you? That would be really good. So the question, can we really get rid of the accent? And you said no. And why not? that was said at the very, very end of your speech. You know why? Because who are we speaking a different language? We are completely new people and our brain functions differently. That's the answer to the question. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the answer during your speech. I found it only at the end of the speech. So I wouldn't advise you to remake this project, but I would strongly advise you to think about the way you structure your research and you present the results. Good luck.
Thank you a lot, Valeria, for being so precise. And of course, I think as usual, it's a very good example of personal evaluation. Okay, guys, so I will try to be very brief in giving some overview of our meeting. So we started with the joke of the day. I'm not sure whether Mike is here or not. I think no, because yeah, I don't see him. But like, to be honest, to start with the phrase that, oh my God, I'm lazy, I didn't have time to prepare for the meeting. No, Mike is here, Bobylkin, I see him. Then Mike, if you hear me, I hope so. Then to start with the phrase that I'm lazy and then explain for like a couple of seconds why you're lazy isn't the best beginning of the meeting. So probably you should work a bit more on the structure of your speech. But anyway, thank you for this first approach. Guys, hello, do you hear me? Hello?
We hear you.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Yes, we do, Kristina.
Okay, yeah, because you're frozen. Thank you. Then let's go to timer. Ali, thank you very much for being green, yellow, and red today. I think that everything was quite obvious in terms of explanation of your role. Probably, yeah, I would just advise you to mute yourself, to put the sound on before the table topics, and just to remind to everybody that we have this limit and that they have to put the attention to this video with your image, because people just basically forget about it. Then we had our egg counter, Eugenie. Thank you very much for your explanation. And I think that now, while all the minor roles will be given their reports, you will let us know about what you think about it. And then the grammarian. And now I would like to say to Artem that probably it would be a good idea not only to write this phrase in the chat, but probably to publish it somewhere, for example, on Facebook, so that people can already get acquainted with it before the meeting. And now let's give some words to our minor roles. And basically, I would like to start with Artem. And Artem, please tell us about our grammar and how we were with our grammar.
I think that we have a lot of native speakers today. That is why I don't like just tell about the grammar to them. And I would like to say about the word of the day, the reverse side of coin. And do you know, sometimes when word master say this word, everyone forgot about that, and it usually happens quite often. But today, I would like to say 3 winners, like 3 people to say it. It is Sofia Kuzkina, Elizaveta, our Toastmaster, and Akamba. These 3 people just use this phrase very good in their speeches. At the end of my speech, I would like to say that try to find this good reverse side of the coin for you, and I'm sure that it is possible. And for me, I very like our online meetings, and I would like to take part to online meetings from London and from US, and I very like that these people from other countries today here. So thank you, guys. Let's do it again. Thanks.
Thank you a lot, Artem. One piece of advice that anyway you are a grammarian, and I would even use the verb must mention some mistakes we make. So probably I advise you just per groups. Don't say by person, but per groups. So taking off a few future. And in terms of the phrase of the day, it was quite intriguing and quite probably so. But anyways, this phrase is very interesting. So thank you very much. Now let's move to our A counter and let's ask Evgeny how we were with our extra sounds. Evgeny, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, sure. Let me tell you a few words regarding the number of unnecessary words and sounds. In general, everyone was doing amazing, but as you know, there is always a little room for improvement. Let me tell you first about prepared speeches and their speakers. So there were two leaders, guys who managed not to use any parasites, any filler words. These are Alan and Ivan. So I haven't heard any unnecessary sounds or words from them. Although they had quite a few pauses, so they somehow managed not to fill them in with any unnecessary sounds. I think these are excellent examples to follow for some of us. On the other hand, Sofia and Anna, who also delivered prepared speeches, they had quite a few R and E. With Sofia had about 8 R and at least 4 E. Anna had 5. And they also didn't have any words parasites, which is excellent. While some other guys had quite a few. For example, Ricardo had 8 E, 2 R, and 1 M. And Maria had 5 R and 3 E. And finally, Artem had, I think he was the leader in terms of variety and number of those words with and so on. He used at least 3 times, and 4 times, so 3 times, are and 5 times each. That's my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you a lot, Evgeny. A round of applause for you. And my little piece of advice is that I understand that it's important for people about the extra sounds, but probably it's becoming a bit boring for the rest of the public. So probably I would advise you not to say like the exact sound that people are pronouncing, like you have used 9 S, 10 okay, you can just say that you have had this quantity of extra sounds. And then if people are interested, they can go and look through your info. But anyway, thank you very much. And I suppose that you're on your dacha, right?
Right, it's countryside, yeah.
So you're lucky because you have space to walk. Okay, thank you very much. And please mute off your microphone right now. And we are proceeding to our timer. Ali, please tell us how we have been with our time limits.
Hello again. I have bad and good news for you. The bad news, time flies and our journey to Moscow will finish soon. The good news, we have very professional pilots, and I would say 95% of you managed to stay in their time limits. I believe that's because of for online meetings, so you save some time for eye contact, so you don't concentrate on that, and you save a few seconds on that. and you don't also spend more time on your body language and your stage movement. So that makes you control your time more. And almost everybody was in their time limits. So I will not mention the people who exceeded their time by 10 seconds, but because they stayed in their time limits, I will mention a few people or few roles who just exceeded that time qualified limit. For example, we have Valeria, who spent 3 minutes and 30 seconds in her evaluation. Actually, she could give this 10 more seconds to Tatyana, who need that to be qualified, as she spent only 1 and 45 seconds. She needed at least 2 minutes in her evaluation to stay in her time limits. We also have Grammarian Artem, who talked only for 1 minute and 30 seconds. I believe he could talk and give us a few more advices to make it at least 2 minutes and stay in his time limit. Other than that, I believe everyone did a great job. So thank you for your time management. Keep it up and enjoy the meeting. Thanks. Back to you, Kristina.
Thank you a lot, Ali. And thank you for being with us today from Poland. It's really amazing. Okay, so now a couple of words to Florian. Florian, are you here with us?
Da, я тут в Лондоне, Kristina.
Good. So first of all, thank you very much for joining us today. And now a couple of things about the table topic session. Firstly, I really enjoyed that it was incredibly positive. And staying all the time indoors, I think that we really need these positive vibes. Secondly, I think that you were staying in your notebook so we could see your body. That was really cool in terms of your gestures. What I have noticed is that we have had some kind of confusion between those who participate in the table topic session, probably because because we are Russian and we have got used to a bit different cultural way of Toastmasters meetings. By that I mean that probably as you're almost the native speaker, almost, because English is amazing, people were a bit confused by the task, and I didn't understand the task. So firstly, try to be a bit more structured in the task, and secondly, probably try to be a bit shorter in terms of the explanation of the task, because you spend quite a lot of time in doing these things. And also, I know that in many clubs there is this practice of just picking up people from the audience, but here in Russia we also have this practice of volunteering quite a lot. So I suppose that some people were a bit, I would even say, shocked by being picked up from the audience so roughly. So just give a bit more opportunity to people just to volunteer firstly. And then, if they want, then pick them up. But anyway, thank you very much for being so positive and for being with us today. And now I think Florian from Moscow. Overall, I think that technically this meeting has been a success and everything was good. I really want to say thanks to all the organizers, to Anna and Irina. And now I would like to ask Irina whether we already have our table topics winner. If so, then let's proceed to the announcement.
Yeah, thank you, Kristina, for your evaluation. And it's time for announcements. We have a table topics winner, and this is a beautiful girl from our friendly club, a Russian-speaking club Optima Forma. It's Alexandra Fedorenko. Alexandra, are you here?
Woo!
Ooh. Congratulations. And another announcement, I should congratulate another beautiful woman. It is a member of our club and she had a birthday just yesterday, the 31st of March, Alina Loginova. Congratulations, Alina. Although we are online, but we will prepare a special card for you and As soon as we will move to offline again, we will present it to you. We are together, remember it. To another announcements. In 2 weeks, we will have another meeting, and it will be special meeting. The 15th of April, we will have an international speech contest. So dear Toastbusters members, sign up for this contest if you wish, and contact Anna Ilyina for that. Also, dear Toastmasters, dear members of the Toastmasters International, you can vote for this meeting in our statistics form. And now you can see in the chart the link from Anna Ilyina. I think she will send you right now. So you can vote for this meeting for every speaker and every role, if you like it or not. And about another upcoming events, Anna just has posted the dates of our huge spring conference. It will be area conference online, of course, the 25-26th of April, and I encourage all Toastmasters and guests to join us. It will be free, and it will be in 2 languages, first day in English and second day in Russian. We will post detailed information in the future in our Facebook group, in our members chat, etc., etc. So join us in 2 weeks, and I am very grateful to all international guests, to all foreigners. It's amazing that you joined us. We should stay together in this historical moment. So thank you very much, and let me close this meeting. See